This video is an ad for Hearthstone. Check out the game with our link below.
Hey, Martina.
Hello.
So I was thinking, what if we make playing card, but big?
How big?
Not too big, you-sized.
So you're telling me you want to make a card that is as tall as me from a super detailed artwork, like a complicated diorama in a life-size card kind of thing?
I guess that's what I'm saying, yeah?
Yes! Oh, yes!
We're gonna need a big construction. And even though Martina doesn't think this is the fun part, I don't really mind. Especially not when she has already made the template that I need. I think this is gonna be quite easy. Let's go.
Get in!
I feel like it looks like a cell phone or a Game Boy or something.
Yes, it kind of does.
It's very big. I think it's big enough. My issue now is I have no idea. Where do we go from here?
I mean, there's going to be the foam details on the front, and some text, and this gemstone up here, and of course some text here, and then, you know, the whole diorama thing on the inside here.
Yeah. Where do we begin? Because I don't really know.
I have a plan. I think with the diorama in here should be step number 1. Don't worry about it. I have some ideas. All right, folks, listen up. This is the card we've chosen. I got some glue in my... The Fireland's portal. And I feel like we can divide this into 2 main parts, which is the card itself and the diorama on the inside. I feel like the most difficult part is gonna be the diorama on the inside, because we have to try to make an actual illusion of a portal that goes into another world in normal 3D space. How? Like, I want it to feel like you can just go in there and get lost. Basically. Should be easy enough, right? So essentially what I'm gonna do is take this cardboard, make a little curve at the front here for room number 1, and then we do the same back here, a bit of a steeper curve for room number 2, like the fireland. Just let me show you, it makes sense later. I think I'm just gonna spray it with a bit of water to make it a bit more like malleable. Give it a little... Yeah, there's a bit of soap in there still, okay. Try to like forcefully bend it. Mirror on the other side, and then we have our first wall. Alright, we got one room in the front for the stone chamber. Then right behind it we have another room for the firelands itself. Both of these are just units that can actually be removed from the card and worked on separately. But now, before we do that, I'm gonna try to cut a ring for the portal itself and try to make like the base for it, if that makes sense. And of course I'm gonna try to get everything to the right size. I mean, look at this. I've been doing some scale maths and everything. Gotta do it right. Now comes the part that I've never done before, which is gonna be probably very tricky part, which is carving the perspective of the painting itself into the foam. But Martina, what does that mean? So basically what we have to do is to try to carve into the foam in a way that creates the illusion of more depth than there actually is, and then like enhance that effect with the paint job. Oh, by the way, quick shout out to Jazza, who essentially pioneered turning cards into dioramas here on YouTube. Just an absolute legend. I salute you, my friend. And now, let's carve some foam. Bruh, this is breaking my brain. I'm really struggling with just translating the perspective in 2D painting into 3D depth. Because the problem is, I only have this depth. Like, if I were to actually build this, in real life I would just make a whole room so you could just look into it. But here I have to like carve the perspective into the foam in this very small space, so it's like sort of 2D, but sort of 3D, all at the same time, and it's just really messing with my brain. I need to soak my brain cells after this. Give them a holiday.
Hello fellow YouTube watchers! So here is the current state of this project. Martina is working on the inside of the card. And the inside of the inside, the diorama part, is very important. But that's not to say the outside is not important too. So we're gonna start working on the gemstone, the mana cost indicator, and it's up here. It's quite large, as well as the gemstone here in the center. So to make these gemstones, we have to resort to, you guessed it, resin. Now, in order to make resin casts, we're gonna need to make molds. And this is a 3D print of the oval shape. And it is not really a mold. But we have this thing, which is also a 3D print of the mana cost gemstone. And our job now is gonna be to turn this into an actual castable mold. So we have a little bit of cleanup to do and a little bit of silicone pouring, which we haven't done a lot before. So I'm a little bit worried. Let's go. We have the blank in the middle, which is now super shiny. And then we have a little bit of a mold going on at the side to contain the silicone when we pour it over. But as you can see, the silicone here is definitely not going to be enough to cover this entire form. What I'm hoping to do is to brush it on, and that's going to be enough to actually create the base shape, and then we can add something sturdy on top to give it that support for when we're going to pour the resin. To save some of the silicone, I have opted for a different approach on the other mold that we're making. This is called liquid latex, and I was not prepared for the mess it made. It's kind of like going everywhere, because I have to apply this in layers, and I'm at the 7th layer now. We're gonna have to have 2 more layers, or 3 maybe. So I'm ready to begin casting. I've been waiting for this a while, so let's actually make some molds. My worry now is this all just slides off and we have to figure out something else. But hopefully it will all stay on top and we can peel off the mold later. Okay, it's been a few hours, and luckily this is a fast setting silicone and it's all hard. Everything seems to be covered, it's looking good. So, what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna make a hard shell using plaster. That's gonna be the stuff that supports the resin when that comes in, because this silicone is probably gonna bend under the weight of the resin. Okay, while the big boy plaster thing is drying over there, I can report on this latex thing that is going to be the center gemstone. It looks horrible, that's my first impression. Hopefully on the inside it's actually going to be smooth. We got it off. Time to cover it in plaster.
Oh my lord, what a freaking mess. And like, I've cleaned 5 times already. It just never ends. But good news, all the foam pieces for the stone chamber are complete. And holy frick, I have never spent so much brain power trying to figure out measurements or perspective. Like, if you thought drawing perspective is bad, boy, I think I drew this on like 8 times before I got it right. So these are ready to be painted. I am a little nervous because I haven't actually seen all of these pieces fit together. Like, I've done one piece at a time, so we'll figure out if they fit. Hopefully they do. Gotta paint this too in this very professional painting setup. It is actually pretty nice. Thank you, Hansi, for setting it up. Actually, I think I'm gonna just attach some of the biggest pieces here. So I need a glue gun. Here we are. Everything fits together. But now comes the best part. the painting. We're gonna try to actually copy the painting itself directly on here. So the lighting effects, all the shadows, all the lights, try to really enhance that 3D effect. And to paint it, we're gonna use our good old paint gun. Remember this? That we got for the anime car. Didn't think I was gonna use this for a diorama, but here we are. Gonna make things a little bit faster. So that means it's painting time. You know, the reason I chose this card was because of this challenge of painting a fire effect. And also to see if it's even possible to make a diorama with an actual portal to another world. How freaking cool would that be? But let me tell you, it was not an easy choice because Hearthstone has so many amazing cards to choose from. Look at this! And now with their new update, Perils in Paradise, there are even more cards to choose from. If you don't know, in Hearthstone, which you know, it's free to play, you use these cards to construct decks to absolutely decimate your opponent in turn-based combat. Looks simple at first glance, right? Psych! There's tactics, strategy, meta. Hearthstone launched 10 years ago, back when I looked like this. But they are still bringing fresh new content to the game every 4 months. And this time, it's freaking vacation themed, baby! Woo! It's available for pre-purchase right now, and with it you'll get 145 brand new cards. I mean, this is just a small selection, the list goes on. A brand new keyword, tourist, introducing some fun new gameplay dynamics. The legendary card Marin the Manager, I mean, just look at him go! Among other things. So make sure to check out Hearthstone and Perils in Paradise with our link below. And thank you so much, Hearthstone, and of course you guys, for supporting our crazy project ideas. And back to the project. I honestly can't tell if this looks good or if it's just wonky. Hansi!
What's up?
Does it look good or does it look weird?
I think it looks awesome.
Yeah?
I get kind of dizzy when I look into it. My eyes go cross-eyed because of the perspective and everything, but I think it looks great.
Okay, so we're good.
We're good.
Because we gotta do, you know, the firelands on the inside, and then the resin things, and we got a bunch of stuff to carve on here. I mean, you have the banner, you have the text, and then there's the whole like fire portal thing. Nowhere to go from here.
Listen, Martina, when in doubt, you know what I always say?
Always start with the cool stuff.
Always start with the cool stuff, which means we should make the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, but soldering though, is that very cool?
We'll make the most epic soldering sequence of all time. If you can't beat the ADHD, become one with it!
The Ring of Fire is complete. And yeah, let me just give a quick little rundown of what actually happened, because that went a little fast. It's actually pretty simple. First of all, we just used these filament LEDs, my favorite kind of lights, and attached it to a cardboard ring. Then on top of that, we added a little bit of this stuff that we just melted the edges off because they're kind of like weird in texture. And the little acrylic pieces is just to carry the light a little more. And finally, on top of that, we added some paint to give it that fiery glow. And that's it, really. All you need to make real fire. But before we put it in, we have a lot more work to do. First of which is gonna be creating the firelands itself. Okay, so to make this firelands diorama, there's quite a few steps we have to get through. And I think I know all the steps, it's just when I think about it, it gets a little overwhelming because I know all the steps. I think what I'm gonna do is just start at the back and paint the background, like the clouds and stuff. Just channel my inner Bob Ross and relax a bit. Just do some painting, my comfort thing. And then just one step at a time. We can do this, Martina. Just break it down. Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Pain of Painting. I invite you to grab a brush, join me on this journey, and we shall create something beautiful together. I've chosen a little sunset orange as our starting point today. I'm just gonna flake our brush back and forth. See, and just like that, we have the beginning of a nice little hellscape. Now comes my favorite part. Time to clean the brush, dip it in some water, and we beat the heavens out of it. Just a bit of fun. When I'm painting, I always like to think about what sort of creatures would live in this world. Maybe there's a happy little fire demon living down in the valleys, or a little nightmare bird soaring in the skies. Maybe they have a friend. So I'm just gonna grab some more intense orange and start to putting some really burning skies in here. This is your world. You can put in as many demonic creatures as you like. I'm feeling extra crazy today. Let us do something we have never done on the show here before. Something called a time lapse. How cool is it to just have canvas on the roll like this? You can just decide the size yourself. What? Let's try to get this in there. Got the contact glue on. And now let's see if we can center this thing. There. There we go. Turned out pretty cool. Moving on. The next step is gonna be making that like intimidating building in the center. I thought about laser cutting it at first, but like I have this printout of the building itself in the right scale, and I think honestly it's gonna be just as fast to just cut it by hand. So we're gonna take this and cut out more foam. They're not very complicated, so I think this should be like fairly simple to cut out. Got the silhouette of the building here. So next we just have to carve some shape into these pieces, add some more layers to give it some more depth. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out, especially these spiky parts up here. And I also made sure to leave lots of little slits so we can have some lights behind it and really make it glow. But before we can do the painting, there's still a couple more things. Rocks and lava. To make things a little bit easier for myself, I've actually traced out a bunch of the shapes of the rocks from the painting, laser cut them into foam. So it's just gonna save us a little bit of time and a little bit of work. Let's carve some rock. There we have it, our rock base shape. I'm just gonna add a little bit of texture with some aluminum foil, like literally just roll it on there, and then I think we're good. Well, I've been working on the castle and the one rock. Hansi has actually made all the other rocks. So all of these are gonna make the layers in the landscape, and we've just used the same method for this, laser cutting the silhouettes, shaping it with a knife and then adding some texture with foil. But I just wanted to note, by the way, you don't need a laser for this. Like, the only reason I used it this time is because I wanted to really make the rocks look like the painting as closely as possible. But in the past, we've only used knives or hot wires. Like, when tools are your only friends, then just use them. You know, thank you, William. Appreciate you, my friend. I do feel a bit bad about you sitting in the corner alone all day. You're loved. Okay, moving on. There's one very essential thing remaining, which is the lava. And so I made this nice little construction to support it. Let me show you. So we have this acrylic sheet that is going to be the support for the entire landscape. And that's also going to double as our lava river in the center. And underneath the lava itself, we're going to have some LEDs shining up through it to create that glow. But of course, we have to make some lava river texture. And for that, I'm going to try to use water effects, ironically enough. This stuff is really nice because it's kind of goopy, so you can create some nice textures with it. And also, it dries completely transparent. So I'm thinking I can paint it to look like lava, and then the light will still be able to shine through from underneath. Should probably make a test, but you know, like, ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, I think this texture is starting to look pretty good. So now we just have to wait for this to dry, which should be about 24 hours, and then we can paint it. It's been 24 hours, so this stuff is now nice and dry. We're currently out in the echoey warehouse because I'm gonna airbrush the lava effect. But before I do that, I'm just gonna add some parchment paper for diffusion underneath. We have lights. I'm gonna keep this in this place while I'm painting, and I'm gonna start with some nice yellows, and then some oranges, and finally some reds. And hopefully we have a nice lava effect at the end. So we really only have one more thing to do for the firelands itself, and that is to paint the rocks. And I've done a little bit of prepping. So we have our spiky rocks. These have just been attached together. Use some paper and glue to make it a bit more seamless and sturdy. And here we have our shadow colors. Some nice red tones. And I'm also gonna try to paint like a glowy lava effect coming from underneath, just like hitting the rocks. Let's do some painting. And now we assemble. Portal's done. Ring of Fire is done. Firelands is done. You know what that means? The whole diorama on the inside is complete, baby. Oh, the relief. Oh boy. We're not done yet. Who knew? Because we have to paint the entire card. We still have quite a few foam details to add on the front here, like this banner, the border around the text down here. And of course we have to insert the crystals, add the text itself. There's a lot of painting, a lot of carving still left to do. And once that's all done, then we can finally assemble everything and see how it turns out. Already been quite a few weeks, but oh boy, I'm so excited to see everything to come together at last. Let's freaking build, baby! Oh! almost. I'm sorry, there's too much excitement. The thing here is, of course, we're gonna have the ring of fire around the tunnel here, but it's gonna look a little bit dumb if there's just like purple tunnel going in there. So we have found this stuff, flexible mirror. I wasn't aware that this existed, but like, so we're gonna line the whole thing like that, and then we chuck them in there. Whoa. It looks really trippy. What the hell? Let's now pop this in here and assemble it all. Perfect. There we go. Now we can put it on. And now the final piece of the puzzle. The fireland itself. It's a bit difficult to move. Okay. Please just fit. Gotta wiggle it. A little toy in it. Yes! Oh my god! Dude, those mirrors are freaking trippy. Oh! Oh, I want to turn it on. Are you ready?
Yeah! Let's do it! I'm hyped!
Oh my god. Okay.
It's only been like 4 weeks.
Yeah, only. So please just work.
Turn on!
3,
and be nice.
2, 1.
Whoa! I am so amazed at the mirror effect. You kind of forget about the whole portal situation. Yeah. And the fire turned out so good.
Oh my god, I love it. Do you like it? Oh no. He's like, I don't know what this is.
Into the fire! It's a success.
Success!
Yeah!
Overall, I think it turned out really freaking cool, and it's so weird to look at all the shades and highlights because it kind of messes with your brain because like the lights is not where the light looks like it is, and it's just kind of weird and kind of cool. So yeah, I really loved working on this project. It was so much fun, so thank you Hearthstone for reaching out. Remember to check out the game and the new update Perils in Paradise, link below, as you know. And now I know you've all been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this, the final result. But first I just want to thank you for watching, and of course a huge thank you to our patrons, because you are freaking amazing. Mwah! Love you guys. Oh, and one more thing before I forget, just move back a bit. Do you think we succeeded in making our card look like the original? Like, this is the art, this is our card. Did we succeed? Let me know in the comments. And now, it is finally time. Let's have a look at the final result. Yeah, boy.